Struggling to earn 3 stars at Town Hall 16? Well, these are the 5 best armies to crush any base. We'll break each down to help increase your 3-star success. Starting at number 5, we have the Super Witches. Still one of the best armies in the game, especially with the addition of the action figure for even more survivability and DPS. So to start off, we're going to be running the Grand Warden Walk with the Fireball in order to clear out a large area. Using a couple invisibility spells along with our 2 earthquake spells, we're going to be able to use that Fireball to clear as many defenses. This is going to be considered part of your funnel, so letting the Warden kind of walk is the name of the game. On the other side though, you're going to be running the Siege Barrack with 2 furnaces and the Barbarian King. This allows you to get a wide funnel set. Having the Barbarian King with his Giant Gauntlet and Rage Vial will allow you to get even more buildings down while your furnaces and your Siege Barrack units are being there to clear out other defensive structures and buildings, creating a solid funnel for you to send in your Super Witches with the Grand Warden following and the Archer Queen. You want to have a couple balloons to look for any Seeking Air Mines, so that way you can protect your healers. Other than this, you're going to be running your Rage spell early on along with a jump spell in the core. This is going to push all your Super Witches in as you have the Giant from your action figure along with the mirrors in order to do a lot of damage as you work into the back end from the core. That way you can also have your Royal Champion towards the back end of the base help clear out any remaining defenses, especially having support from things like freeze, and that way you can really have a strong push towards the back end of the base. Having the Electro Boots on the Royal Champion has been incredibly strong, and since this wasn't around when Town Hall 17 first dropped, this is one of the best ways to provide easy support for the rest of your army. And of course, having the action figure is just going to allow your Super Witches to really stay alive for longer. Just make sure that you have some form of cleanup like minions, and you should be good for a pretty simple 3-star. At number 4, we have Throwers. Well, they're actually pretty underrated, as running the Fireball Life Gem combo can actually keep them healthy quite often. Pretty much, this is going to be ran kind of similarly to Super Witches, where you're going to run a couple invisibility spells in order to send the Fireball deep into the base, at least to clear out an area of the base and possibly even the enemy CC. But with the Life Gem, you're not getting too much damage, but you do have a DPS buff. This does allow you to run a very short Warden Walk to create a bit of funneling. It might not be the quickest thing in the world, but you can clear a solid funnel. This allows you to run the Siege Barrack with 2 furnaces on the other side, which is going to cut off it beautifully for your throwers, where you can send them in with the Grand Warden, the Barbarian King, and the Archer Queen. You have a lot of tanking in front of them, with the Archer Queen in her action figure, the Barbarian King being tanky overall, and even the Electro Titan. This allows you to have the throwers underneath that Life Gem, which is a big deal, because in that situation, you have basically Super Bowler HP on them. You can also easily use your Super Wall Breakers sparingly to open up the base, but you mainly want to take advantage of their range. So having the King with a Spiky Ball and Earthquake Boots to open walls is really nice, but having the throwers to be able to pick off the Town Hall from a distance without even worrying about the Town Hall poison is really important. Other than that, a jump spell towards the back end will help them clear through, having the action figure Giant to provide even more tanking for all of your units, including the throwers, and realistically having the Royal Champion on the back end to move between defenses is really, really strong. Underneath rage spells, the throwers are just incredibly powerful, so you realistically don't need the rage gem in this situation. And otherwise, you can see why throwers are pretty strong. If you pair them with the life gem, you get a lot of survivability on them, which is their main issue. It's not damage, it is their HP. And otherwise, you'll be able to crush a lot of bases with it. It's one of my favorite armies recently, as throwers are pretty underrated. At number 3, we have the Fireball Rocket Balloons. Still one of the strongest armies in the game, and while it's difficult, it definitely has gotten easier with the Electro Boots and the action figure being added. So to start off, we're going to be running a Warden Charge. Yes, it's another fireball, but with this Warden Charge, we're looking to clear an entire area just with himself. This means that we're not supporting him in any other way other than running rage spells. I do recommend, however, that you bring a Furnace. This allows you to clear buildings right behind his charge, since he typically wants to run the Angry Jelly. This allows you to clear out defenses earlier on for about 30 seconds. Having any rocket balloons to provide a little bit of funneling for him is always important, but this way you can send the fireball deep into the base, where you can remove the enemy CC. This is very important, as what this will allow you to do is allow your Warden to walk safely through the entire rest of the base. Meanwhile, you have the Siege Barrack with a Furnace in order to clear out the other side of your funnel. This is important because your Hero Dive is going away on the opposite side of your Warden Charge. This way, your Warden Charge doesn't get lured over and he doesn't go into support mode. You want him to focus on doing damage to buildings, which includes the Town Hall. You have spells like Freeze and Rage spells to provide a lot of support for him, while your King and Queen deal with defenses over on the other side. Having super minions in the CC also do provide a lot of support as well, and additional funneling. Having the Spiky Ball and Earthquake Boots on the King, along with the action figure and mirrors on the Queen, this really allows you to have a lot of damage and survivability with your Hero Dive, where you then have your Royal Champion on the back end. Your Warden is still charging through. He's going to be able to deal with the Town Hall, while your Royal Champion is able to clear through some back-end defenses, meaning that realistically, with your Hero Dive, Warden Charge, and Royal Champion, that back end is so easy because you've got rocket loons, and realistically, you could even swag those if you were honestly really good with this attack. But this is such a strong and overkill army, especially with all the recent additions, that just makes this army a lot stronger. Now at number 2, we've got the Masked Dragon. This is absolutely one of the easiest armies due to how broken Royal Champion charges are right now. So to kick things off, you're going to be using the Royal Champion Charge with the Electro Boots and the Rocket Spear. This way you can use just 2 epic equipment in one attack, which makes it very, very good for those of you who just want to focus on a few epic equipment. This way, this allows your Royal Champion to clear out buildings on the outside before going in with her charge. This is where you're going to be using invisibility spells every 4 seconds. This is really going to allow you to do damage to defenses while those defenses are invisible. This allows your Royal Champion to set up better pathing and move through the base a little bit quicker. This way, this kind of allows you to get a lot more value in the process. If you do run the Spirit Fox, this might change in terms of its timing, but for the most part, you just want to make sure that you are keeping the Royal Champion invisible and using your 12 invisibility spells in order to keep her alive and clearing out as many defenses. This way, once you have exhausted all of them, you can use your giant arrow to snipe off 1 or 2 air defenses and any sweepers if possible. This allows you to also set up funneling with your Archer Queen, where you can then go ahead and send in your dragons with the Grand Warden, the Minion Prince, and the Battle Blimp for the Town Hall. This allows you to get a large area off the base. While the Queen is funneling, you've got the Grand Warden with his Healing Tome and Eternal Tome to get the Blimp safely in while protecting the dragons. You even have a rage spell for that Blimp, so the Town Hall does indeed go down. Other than that, you might have your dragons kind of thin out, or I guess like just separate and split, but you do still have a large amount of dragons in terms of maybe one side versus the other. This allows you to also have the Minion Prince to provide great support, especially towards the back end with his Dark Orb. The Minion Prince just does a lot of damage with his default equipment set, and with the power of the slow and the distraction from his henchmen, you're going to be able to pretty much clear through the back end, even if there is a back end air defense. Otherwise, this strategy is incredibly strong and something that realistically you should be using. And the best army is going to go to Root Rider Smash. This army is just way too good, especially when you're using the Prince to provide funneling, which really makes this even stronger. So to kick things off, you're going to be running the Royal Champion Charge first. This is a shorter version. Instead of running a bunch of invisibility spells, you're only running a few because you're also running the Haste Vial with this. This way, what you're able to do is clear plenty of defenses down while using your invisibility spells around your Royal Champion to keep her invisible while doing damage to defenses even while they're invisible thanks to the Electro Boots. Otherwise, this should allow you to clear a decent chunk off the base for your Root Riders so you can recall her out. This allows you to run the Super Barbarians in order to clear out that side, which you can then use the Siege Barrack and the Minion Prince on the other side. With his Noble Iron and the Metal Pants, he has a lot of survivability and he can set a great funnel thanks to the Angry Jelly. This allows you to then have the Archer Queen, the Grand Warden, and of course the Root Riders, Valkyries, and the recalled Royal Champion to move in. You can have something like a skeleton spell to provide a little bit of distraction, but as you work through, you have a rage spell to push everything in, the Eternal Tome and Healing Tome as you get to the core to protect everything, and this should allow you overall to smash the entire core and push your way towards the back end. Having the Metal Pants to protect the healers is really nice. Any free spells over high DPS defenses, even a single target Inferno, and obviously having the action figure with the mirrors is just really dang powerful, especially for Root Riders since they can easily open walls and allow your Giant to add some damage to those defenses. Otherwise, this really just has an incredibly strong synergy and something that you can run pretty much from Town Hall 15 and above, and at Town Hall 16, it's still just as strong. Overall, this is one of my favorite strategies as it's just so hard to stop. Now, these 5 armies should help you 3-star any base with ease, but if you want a breakdown on Super Witches, I have a complete guide right here updated for 2025.